Yeah. You see the air traffic control here in Florida? It's not a joke. It's so we have so many people coming to Florida that air traffic control now can't keep up, and they asked the federal government for more funding because all the airlines are like, hey, summer hits, man, we can't handle the flights in and out. There's not enough. So they literally are hiring just tons of air traffic control all around the state to make sure they can handle it. Like that's what it's become. It's a good news, bad news kind of thing, right? I mean, come spend all your money so we don't have to pay taxes, you know what I mean? I'm all about, how's this thing work? Hey, lightsaber. Welcome to the closing beat, everybody. May the 4th be with you. This is my, one of our lightsabers here. Obi-Wan Kenobi, here to help you. We are financial advisors. It is May the 4th. And that's how you say it. May the 4th be with you, right? Star Wars fans, I'll tell you something. I've never actually seen any of the movies. I always get beaten up for that. I mean to. I mean, I have good intentions. When does a brother sit down and watch movies? I can't do it. So, and I've been told you got to start at the beginning and yada, yada. Anyways, we're here to talk about the stock market and the big day it had today. Excuse me. And we will do that. Off to the right, you can see the stock market's performance and all that good stuff going on. Tomorrow, we do a show called Wine and Wealth for our clients here over there in the Speakeasy. And tomorrow we're going to talk about portfolio adjustments to our small cap fund. Last week we talked about how fund managers make adjustments, why they do things, how they scale in and things like that. And we're going to actually go through that there. So be ready for that. Grab a drink, come hang out with us. If you want to join us here at Jazz Wealth, I welcome you. I appreciate you guys all keeping us in mind. If you're looking for a financial advisor with no strings attached, no gimmicks, no games, no nothing, well, we've got some good ones here. And we don't play games. We like to keep it lighthearted, and, no intimidation. That's why I wear hoodies and stuff, just to show you we're normal people instead of pretending like we have fancy suit and ties and stuff. I despise that. Anyways, also our fin tips are back. Yesterday was Eric's premiere with us here doing fin tips. He talked about Roth conversions and a little bit of a mistake people can make there. It's free on YouTube. You can check it out. It's on our channel here. All we ask is for a little, hit the subscribe button or something. We don't ask for anything, nothing like that. So hope you enjoy that. Well, here we go. You've got the Federal Reserve hiking interest rates there by 0.5 point. And like we talked about, we've been tracking their comments and everything. I even showed with you all of their comments on the closing beat. I went through every single thing. I showed you if they're a voting member, what they said, what the summary was. I literally went through all of them. Did that through the month of April there. And this is only the second time we've seen a 0.5 point rate hike since I was out of high school. I actually had not graduated yet. I was 1 month away from graduating high school, to give you an idea of how rare the 0.5 point rate hikes are. And I'm going to turn 40 next month. So, I get it that this looks great and I look like a young guy, but I'm about to turn 40, so that's how it goes. Now remember that the Federal Reserve, they have what they call neutral, and I've covered this before. Neutral for them is about 2.4%. They have a lower end of their range and a higher end of their range. So right now, the lower end of the Fed target rate is 0.75%. 1% is the upper end, and they move those ranges. It's not just one interest rate that they set for banks overnight. They want to be neutral by the end of the year. That would mean they expect their range to go from 0.75 to 1 all the way up to 2.25 to 2.5. That's where they want the rate to be. This means they could do another 0.5 point rate hike. They could do multiple 0.5 point rate hikes. And even today, Jerome Powell, who's the Fed president, said that 0.5 point rate hikes at the next few meetings are on the table. So he's already setting the tone. Listen, that inflation doesn't come down. We are going to hit this thing hard, and whatever collateral damage, their words, that may ensue is part of the deal. It's just what's going to be have to happen. That means if the stock market takes a hit, no big deal. He's not going to worry about that. If inflation does not come down, they're going to keep going with that. And now, if inflation starts to fall by the next meeting and things like that, they could change their tone. So they're very, very clear with how they communicate, which is something that they started in about 1994, where they started being public about their decisions there. So that's what you have for the Federal Reserve. The stock market liked it today, and let's take a look at the stock market here. Here's the S&P 500. That's going to be a gain of about 3%. Did you know that? Well, if you didn't, now you do. So that's a gain of about 3% on the day. Massive, massive rally. What's interesting, just like we talked about, Fed decisions always have an initial move, which was, this is 2 o'clock right there. They always have the initial move and then a counter move. Always. Happens every time. Day traders eat this stuff up because you never play the initial move. You play in the direction of the other move, you take your quick scalp, and you move on out of the way. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Because it did happen yet again. Happens every single time, and I pointed out every single time for you. But as the day progressed, it got better and better because the investors in the market are like, okay, the Fed's got us. They're going to bring down inflation. By doing so, that means obviously goods will cost less, companies can make more money, people will not be stressed as much. Hopefully gas prices come down. And so that's what you have going on there. It was a massive, massive rally there. It's also the first 3 days in a row that we've seen a rally since about mid-March. Believe it or not, that's actually the case. It also moves us out of correction territory ever so slightly. We were down just over 10%. Now we're not, so not a big deal there. Well, actually, that's good news. I mean, I think it's good news. And it was a broad rally. Small cap growth value and index, mid cap value growth index, large cap value growth and index. They all did well. Every area of the market had its move. The only things that did not participate today were earnings driven. But otherwise, the stocks that moved the market did move the market. Microsoft and Apple, you could see moved high. No. Yeah, I knew I was going to do that. Microsoft and Apple obviously having a great day today. They are big market movers. Alphabet finally getting a little bounce there. Even Amazon participating. Remember, this is a very, very oversold stock right now. You've got Tesla also participating in it. It was a very broad rally, meaning a lot of index level buying. People wanted everything. They did not want a stock pick today, as we've seen over the past couple of weeks. A lot of people have been looking to individual stocks and individual sectors. Today was not the case. They moved on to the broad market. So I don't want to guess. I just get me in the market. What's the fastest way to get in the market is to just buy everything, and that's exactly what happened. Weaker stocks today we'll cover. Those are earnings related. We'll get to that. Nasdaq was down 20% year to date. Now it's down about 17. And normally, you know, it's funny. Normally you'd go, hey, the Nasdaq was down 20%. Now it's down 17 thanks to last month's rally of 3%. No, this was one day rally of 3% in the Nasdaq. We've seen these bigger moves lately. The volatility continues there. If you're looking inside of the Nasdaq, same concept. Everything was strong on the day. Starbucks, big move on the day thanks to earnings. AMD, those two are earnings related. Airbnb and Match also earning related. And then you just kind of go outside from there. Facebook participating, DocuSign participating. Didn't matter if it was weak or strong coming into the Federal Reserve announcement there. It participated today. That's pretty much the gist of the story there. Not much to cover when everything goes straight up. The Dow also participated today as well. Got a gain of about 900 points on the day. Everybody's happy with that, although most people don't have a lot of Dow stocks. Crude oil also up 0.5% on the day. The European Union banned the sale of Russian oil, and so that's seen as, okay, that's going to obviously drive prices up around the world, and that did happen, which led to energy being your best performing sector of the day, actually. So it's kind of interesting. Energy was up 4% on the day. That was the biggest gainer, but not by much. There were 1, 2, 3, 4 other sectors that were higher by 3%. No sector was up less than 1%. So real estate was the worst performing sector in the market, and it was up 1.2%. So gives you an idea. Whoa, that was a really, really broad market there. The ban on Russian oil certainly helped for XLE. That put a lot of those stocks back to new highs. It is still the best performer year to date by a long shot. To give you an example of how that would look, you've got XLE up now almost 50%, 50%. You've got utilities in second place at 1.79% with today's rally. So let's call it 2%. 48%. There's a big spread between the best performer and then everybody else. It's a big, big lead there. Like I said, there was one sector, energy, that gained 4%. There were four that gained 3%. The rest gained 2%, and real estate gained 1% on the day. And if we're looking around, go in here. You got gold trying to recover just a little bit. REITs, you could use the XLRE or the ICF to take a look there. Emerging markets up 1%. Gold mining stocks, transport stocks, everything's going to be up. Silver actually trying to recover a little bit. So just pretty much interesting across the board there. Very nice to see. Outside the sectors, you have the dollar finally pulling back a little bit. There you go. Finally. Remember, don't chase anything. Don't chase anything that is overextended there. You're going to get yourself in some trouble there. As far as the research site and our office trades, we did a post. We did a couple posts, actually. We've got the May calendar up there. We talked about how the Federal Reserve impacts the stock market during the day. So we performed basically just in line, except we outperformed it. For how the stock market behaves when there's a half-point rate hike. I actually showed you all of them. If you want to join the research site, jazzwealth.com/research. But all of that to get ahead of today. We have 2 air conditions like right above us here. There's 4 in the building. We have 2 right here. They were both broke, and we're sweating bullets back here. So the guys were working on the air conditions for us. We couldn't do the office trades without a bunch of hammering and drilling and everything going on. The good news is it's fixed, man. Huh? Nice and cold. I am not in my mother's basement, contrary to popular belief out there. This is actually a whole studio, and so it's like a big warehouse that has a bunch of different sets and stuff in it. And well, it gets hot in Florida this time of year, so we'll mention that. Did take off a couple positions basically to slow down our office portfolio here that we have. Not a whole lot, but we tried to basically take today's big excitement. You have to sell, right? When the markets are strong and you have something long, you got to sell. We were very long, so we've taken a hit lately here, but we closed out our puts on XOP. We closed out our calls on IBM because that helped us out. Starbucks, we talked about that in our office trades that I'm trying to get assigned on that, but I said if Starbucks does rally, I will reduce the position and try to just get assigned on a smaller piece. We have the $80 puts. We may not get assigned, but I closed out 2 of those puts so that we only have 2 puts left. And AMD, I mean, for goodness sakes, right? How do you know? Like, really, Starbucks and AMD, earnings here, takes off. You got to take your profit on that. So we closed out the AMD. And Starbucks, we'll see. It is the June expiration, but if we get assigned, the goal was to use it as a lesson of what we would do if we happen to get assigned. That was pretty much it. It was a monster day, probably for a lot of you, but in our office portfolio, monster day. And by the way, if you want to join and take a look at things like that, we don't hide anything. So you see the account, you see the positions, you see the big losses, the big gains, right? You get to follow along with every little detail. I don't like these, hey, we're going to be your trader friend and you join us and we have the secrets to everything, but then they don't show you anything. Like, I don't care how much money you have in there. Are you making money, losing money? I got to see it. So we actually show all of that. New highs and lows for the day. There were 8 new highs. Most of them were all energy related, as now you might understand. Valero was one of them that happens to be the strongest at the moment. It is getting extended, so that's likely one that if Cody could remind me tomorrow, I might check out in the office trade segment there. Everything else was oil related for the most part, 6 of the 8 anyways. 20 new lows, all were extended reversals. We've been talking about this, right? Extended reversals, meaning stocks that had sold off aggressively and now are so extended that any move higher in the market should pull them along with it. Although Vornado did lose on the day. Look at that reversal. Look at those tails that are right off the bottom end of the screen there. That was one of them. Intercontinental Exchange was another. This was earnings related. Big move to the downside earlier, and it tried to recover most of it throughout the day. So extended reversals. West Pharmaceutical, same thing. There was no way for us to play this, but I keep bringing it up there as a extended stock as well. And S&P Global, anything stock market related, has been meaning like the exchanges, has sold off aggressively and has since recovered ever so slightly and working on it second by second. All right, let's do the earnings here, and then I will take your questions. We've got Lyft. So Lyft missed on earnings. This came out yesterday. Missed on active riders by 1%. Still beat. Saw their net income come out at $24.6 million versus a loss of $21.1 million expected. Not great for them. If you were to look a little bit deeper into it, they lowered guidance going forward, and that's where they took the big hit. See it? Down, 30% on the day. What's interesting about that is Uber said, ooh, let's hurry up. They were supposed to have earnings after the close today. They jumped out ahead of it and came out with earnings first thing this morning to get in front of what was happening with Lyft. So Uber only lost 4%. They moved up their earnings announcement because everybody's looking over at Lyft there. China, not a factor for Lyft. They own about 13% in Didi, a ride-sharing company over there, but they have no immediate China. dealings, right? So the fact that China was shut down didn't hurt them as much, and the stock after hours, well, it was basically down 4.5% on the day. Airbnb, no, Airbnb, there we go. So Airbnb up 7% on the day. They beat on revenue by 4%. Nights and experiences is one of their segments there, beat by 4%. Gross bookings up 8% more than expected, so pretty good there. And they guided higher as well because they see substantial demand ahead of the summer season, and the demand is higher than historical is kind of the key word there. Also prices. If you're on Airbnb and you're renting something out, prices, you're able to increase your prices there. They were up by an average of 5%. Starbucks with the big move here today. China offset their they kind of hurt their store sales by about 8% there versus a gain of 2%, which was we were expecting. China overall lower by 23%. Remember, they have a lot of stores in China, and China is kind of shut down at the moment, or a lot of it is. They said they see record demand and beneficial changes in customer behavior, which means we're going to accelerate our growth plans, focusing on the drive-thru. They say the drive-thru is highly profitable for them, and that's what they want to move on to doing. I would do the same thing. I don't disagree with you. That's what happens when you get your old CEO back, I guess. Howard Schultz, man, not fit for president apparently because he didn't last long there, but he knows how to run a company, in particular Starbucks. AMD beat, this is killer. AMD just had a great earnings report overall. I could go on and on about this one. Beat by 25%, something, crazy on earnings there. Revenues were up 11% there. They raised their guidance. Gross margins, this is probably where the excitement was, 54% before taxes and everything. 54%. We were expecting 51%, which is already amazing. They came in at 54%, and they said all of our segments are strong. Everything. We have nothing bad to say. So really good beat for them. And that is basically what happened today. Tomorrow, you've got earnings from Anheuser InBev, Budweiser basically, Cardinal Health, ConocoPhillips, Wayfair, I guess is coming out, McKesson, and Republic Services, Open Table, Square. McKesson, by the way, is your best performer. It's only lower 1 out of the last 8 earnings reports there, so not too bad there. I like it. I will take your questions if you have any. And we'll go from there, huh? Not too bad. Hello, Jason. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button. That helps us out a little bit. I like when you do that. Makes us look like somebody. Harry says, Lyft and Uber are still unprofitable and have no plan to ever be profitable, yet the institutional money loves them. Think about that, Harry. They couldn't make money in the best of times. Now you would argue, obviously, is one of the better times. What is it going to take, right? I mean, I just don't know. The number of new drivers that join them, up 121%. So, I don't understand that. That take rate's going to have to just be ridiculous. And drivers already kind of disagree with Uber's take rate, how they're doing that. It is not the 35% that is tend to be published. It's not very good. But hey, people still do it. And for some reason, they can't make any money with it. But that is not my problem. I'm glad that is not my problem. You think the rally will continue? All right, so that's a great question. I'm going to go back to the S&P. What happened last time? So we had our little pullback after a monster rally there, and the pullback amounted to nothing. Now we have a big old drop back down to prior lows. We have a massive one-day rally here, but how do we know that this is going to continue? Tomorrow. Right? That's the key. And I'll give it the rest of the week, really. You have to see strength continue into tomorrow. You've got to convince people that they will be left behind if they do not buy. That's what we need here. I don't think we'll get that, right? Because, again, what's the reason that the stock market fundamentally deserves to be back up here somewhere? Anything? Something, right? There's just nothing there. So that's a problem. And I think until that problem is solved, or there's at least one ray of sunshine on the horizon there, how do you have a rally that can sustain itself and make people feel like they're going to get left behind, right? Today was exciting. That's great. It gives a little relief to everybody that believed that this pullback would not fall this far. But come on, right? What is there? There's just nothing, man. It is nothing out there. That will change, but at the moment, I got nothing. Yeah. The mic is on point? Yeah, man. I did nothing. Just, I'm not going to fake it. Like, I did nothing. Jason's always looking for something positive about gold and silver. Silver would be more positive than gold at this point. Both very extended to the downside, but silver is clearly getting more attention than gold. But that's about it for positive. Yeah, dollar cost averaging, it's like, okay, you use these little dips to make the most sense of you adding to your basis and all that stuff, but in no way do you say, today's it, that's the bottom, that has to be it, we're going back to highs. Just give me something, right? And I want something, of course. I would like to have the market be strong, but, I have nothing. Yeah, Fed basically raised rates. They've done a really good job of talking too much. I personally don't think they should talk as much, but they do a good job of talking too much, which lets us all go, oh, it's going to be a half point. There should be no surprise. Yep. Oh, you're welcome, Pobbin. If Buffett is buying stocks recently or last quarter, I'm not going to stop buying stocks. Well, careful, Marco. So Buffett is a different, he goes a different route. He's buying a few companies, but with a lot of money. So his positions that he's in, Occidental Petroleum, Chevron, Allegheny, he bought that, the whole thing. Those can't move the market. Those can go up 100% tomorrow, and the market would not move. It would not budge the market. So he's being a real selective stock picker at the moment, and that could be misleading for people to think like, oh, I should be buying. He's selectively buying. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the key. Brent's got the idea, the uncertainty far outweighs any optimism at the moment. Well, oh, yeah. We will see what happens. But in the meantime, I will wish you guys a good rest of your day. I'm glad everything sounded good and worked good today. That's always a good thing. We'll try to do the same thing tomorrow and the next day. And the next day. But you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for watching. Yeah, you check out our other videos as well. Of course, it's all free. We're not trying to mess with anybody. And happy May 4th. See you later.